Welcome to Life Talks with Immaculate
and Sarah.
Today we want to talk to you guys about how we have been coping with COVID and the whole lockdown. In Ireland, anyway, we've been in lockdown pretty much since December. So we want to just discuss, obviously, we've had the whole epidemic, for everybody since last year, March, and it's a whole year now. So we want to talk to you guys how we've coped and what has been the hardest thing. And we'll just have a couple of questions, 4 questions that Immaculate and I are going to go through and just to give our piece of wisdom or words that we think may be encouraging to you guys who may be finding it a little bit harder, and we'll go from there.
Okay, first I would like to ask you, Sarah, and everybody, how we have coped with COVID. What have we found hard or hardest in this lockdown period?
I think for me, for sure, the hardest thing, for myself and most people that we talk to is not being able to see all our friends or all our family. And I'm extremely social, and I think I can last about 3 days, and I need new voices and new faces. And I think I was reading somewhere, and they said even the interaction of going to the shops, like grocery shops or the bus or someone at the petrol station, that as humans we actually need this interaction because it makes us valid, it validifies our lives, and it helps someone recognize you. Even just someone nodding at you is important, and I didn't realize that was. So I feel like that has been quite hard, not having the interaction with other people, maybe in work, or when you're even working from home, it's a little bit harder to ask questions, because by the time you get someone on the phone and they're busy, and so it cuts off that interaction with people that I definitely have found the hardest. And like I said, I can last 3 days and I need somebody new and I need somebody else to speak to. What about yourself?
For me, wearing masks. I find it really hard because I have worked, I am not bored, but to wear masks for 12 hours. Sometimes I find it really hard, and it is the thing that reminds me of the COVID virus every day. Like, I have to wear a mask, I have to put the mask in the car, I have to put masks everywhere. So I can remember when I'm getting out, I can get it out immediately. But sometimes I forget. I go to the shop and I reach the door and everybody is looking at me, and I say, why are they looking at me? And then I
walk back again.
Then I realize that it's the mask, and I have to run to the car to pick the mask. So that would be my hardest thing. And then not going to church and seeing my friends. I know we do church on TV, on the video, and all that on Zoom, but it's not the same. I love hugs. And I used to like going to church and all my friends hugging me on Sunday and asking me how I was. But now we don't do that. I just see them on video. So it has been really hard that way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Comment and leave us a comment if you want to share what's been hard for you and maybe how you've coped. And that brings us on to a little bit of a positive spin on how has the lockdown actually helped you. I guess for both of us, we try to see the brighter side of life, and obviously we do want to recognize that COVID and the lockdown has affected people differently, and it's also proportionate to just social status as well, and your economical status, and the division between wealth in different places affects people differently. Because if socially, with the way things that you already struggled with, or if you're already a paycheck away from the poverty line, COVID has definitely had a higher effect on some people over others. So we do want to to let you know that we know our experience may not relate directly to yours, but as we share our positive spin on how lockdown, in a way, not necessarily COVID obviously, but just for us who have been on lockdown for way too long, how that has helped us. We just want to move it to a little bit of a positive spin. How has this lockdown helped you?
Lockdown has helped me to value people, because before we were taking life for granted, and especially on social media and what, we create this illusion of perfect lives. But now this is the reality. The people you love most become very valuable to you. You want to communicate, you want to check, because if you take a few weeks and you ask, somebody's gone. So I start now to value people, value my friendships, my family, and I'm become more sociable, checking on people.
Yeah.
you know. And when I go and I see my workmates at work, I'm happy. At least that shows to me that they are healthy. And I ask about their families and they are okay like that. So before we wouldn't do that. We are just on rush. As we can agree, everybody had become too busy. We were taking everything for granted, but now we are a little bit kind of we have been brought down to earth. Now we can really realize that sometimes we need to talk physically. Now that they stopped us from seeing each other, we know the value of talking and how it affects our lives. So that will be my positive thing. Like, I've been reminded that life is not about mobile phones, about social media alone. Life is really like having to talk to people physically. When we have been denied that, now we know how valuable it is.
How has it helped me? I think for me, I'm like, after I got married, I moved in December, and then the lockdown happened in March. So I feel like after a whole year getting married, preparing to be married, and to buying a house, I was really stressed, and I didn't realize how much I hadn't taken care of my emotional and mental welfare. And I think the blessing, I don't know, I'm getting emotional, but I think the blessing of the lockdown for me was to stop and to realize that I needed to put my emotional and my mental health first. So I think when they told us we all had to be home last year, I know it was a shock in the system, and it was really sad what has happened to so many people. But for me, it was an opportunity to stop and breathe, because I hadn't just stopped and just breathed and taken time for myself. And I feel like the lockdown, definitely the positive that came out of it, it helped me just make even those simple goals. I had the goal to be healthy every single year and exercise for like years. But this time I realized I had to make sure that I only have a 3-day exercise goal, that I made sure like I either stretched every day, if I did yoga like every other day, whether I went for a run once a week, because I realized I needed to find time to heal my mind. So much had been happening in my mind, and racing, and thoughts and ambitions I had. And obviously we talked about what's really hard. I lost on certain opportunities that I wanted because of the lockdown. And I feel like because of COVID, once the lockdown happened, I could actually stop and assess where I was and assess if I was healthy. And I actually realized I wasn't healthy. I was so burnt out. And I was just going with the flow, you sink or swim, and I had to keep going. And I think the lockdown helped me stop
and
slow down and breathe. And it made me think about even family members that I hadn't talked to really in ages, or friends. And it helped me be able to get in touch with people and just have a chat and check up on other people. And that is something we want to encourage all of you, that there's a lot of isolation with lockdown or COVID and not being able to move, that we want to encourage you to find ways that you can make sure that you're in control of your mental and emotional health. It could be as simple, like, we're not any professionals in any way, but to even take time to write in your journal and meditate, or to think, am I healthy? And if I'm not mentally healthy, what can I do? For me, it seems simple, but I needed to stretch more. I literally needed to go for more walks and to be more open with my emotions and have a little bit of a meltdown sometimes. But I think I used to schedule my meltdowns. I would be like, oh, I'm really having a hard day, but I have to go to work. And after work, I need to meet somebody and I need to help someone. But with the lockdown, I could actually just stop and deal with therapy.
And it's really about you.
I felt like it became about me. I wasn't distracted by other people. So I feel like, looking at the bright side, that was the positive, although I do know that being alone for a lot of people has caused a lot of isolation as well.
And depression. And stress.
So you have to find ways to kind of treat that as well, like healthily. Yeah.
And be positive.
Yeah, you have to be positive. Even, I know it's hard in all situations, but it just helps you focus on something other than what's going on. This sounds so depressing right now, but the other thing is, what has helped you stay positive and sane during this time? Like, what are some things you've had to actively do to stay sane?
I had to stay working.
Okay.
Because I had a choice either to stay working or stay home.
Yeah.
But when I looked at it, I just said maybe it is better to stay working. Though there were so many risks. I know everybody was worried about me going to work and other people staying home, and there was risks of going to work. But I believe in God, and I just handed it over to God. I said, if I'm going to be safe there, you'll take care of everything. So, and I'm glad I did that, because if I had stayed home, I would have been depressed. So my work really helped me to stay active and on the go. I know it was hard, like every day you wake up, it could be like I would be worried that maybe today I will get infected because of this and that. But later, like when they checked us, I remember the first time they checked me, like they came to check at work, like
a COVID check,
a COVID test. I was so afraid of the results because I said we have been exposed. And so at that time, people were really like getting positive and the numbers were going up and up and up. And I was like, there is not a chance. I've been driving all this long and coming here and going to, because you remember I was the only one doing shopping at home. I said, I've been going to the shops and there's no way I'm going to be safe. But when the results came, because they text through the phone, I could not believe it. And I just said, thank you. I said, thank you, God. And I knew that from then I got more positive. I said, I'm doing this as a service to other people and help them cope. And so I have to stay strong. So that kept me strong as well. So my work definitely helped me stay sane.
I think for me it's different thing. Like as a family, we said doing every now and again we stop, but at the start of the height of like the epidemic and like the lockdown, we would do like Zoom games on the weekend, and we would do like a hoots, if anyone knows of that. But we would do games, like competitive games or online with different families. Like at the time, some of our family members were in Uganda, some were in New York, and some people like now in Sudan, and like they're just different parts of the world. And so that really helped me. And then over Christmas, we did like a Christmas family activity online, and we included the kids as well, because for a lot of kids, like as adults, I think you understand the effect on this, but like for my nephews and my nieces and cousins, I really felt for them because they were withdrawn from school. Maybe the explanations didn't make sense. Parents didn't know what was happening. They didn't have answers. So to just ease that burden for me who has no kids, I thought it would be such a great idea to have a family kids activity. So we did that over Christmas, where we could get all the kids to take part on all these games online. And then they had like a treasure hunt in their own home, and we could send them little prizes like later as well. So that was really fun. That helped me a lot. I have a little bit of older friends. So I write to a lady who is 92 years old now, and she's in Idaho. So I had to write more letters to her. Like I lived in Utah for a little while. So all my friends there, I would like schedule like some calls with them to check up on them, make sure they were fine. But that helped me because it was a change of, I wasn't leaving the house, but I could actually make time and sit on the phone. One of my friends was on the phone for like 5 hours. So that was really some way that I coped. Like even the YouTube channel, like just thinking about what we could do.
Positive.
That was a positive. That's something that like, what could we do to stay sane, but also to reach out to other people, make a bigger circle. And I think you underestimate how someone once told me that the same thrill you get from succeeding, completing something is the same thrill you get by thinking about accomplishing it. That's the excitement. So I had short-term goals. Like in January, I just wanted to survive January. January was just too hard and I was just so emotional. So my goal was just make it through January, and that was okay. And then in February, I think I gave up ice cream because the whole of January, I just ate ice cream. So February, I gave up ice cream.
Was there chocolates?
I literally gave up anything that was in ice cream. And that was great. I don't really eat chocolate that much, so I'm not so bad at February. I gave up takeaway. Like that was hard. Because, lockdown, what else you look forward to? That Friday knock on the door for your pizza or your like spice box.
That was another positive thing about lockdown, because we were not going out to eat now in restaurants or what. We were really cooking at home. And healthy food. That was positive.
It's actually, I can't remember the statistics, but in the Irish, it's either the Irish Times or Financial Times, actually say that over, I think it was 100,000 Italians, Romanians, like actually immigrated back to their countries of origin, because at last they could actually work from home, remote working,
Yeah.
which is such a huge positive, because a lot of people have had to leave their families to travel for work. But with the epidemic, there's actually, businesses, some businesses were able to employ people at home.
And
So a
everybody
lot
wanted to be home
wanted
with
to
their
be home with
families.
families. So it sent a lot of people could fly back who were able to, which actually also means unless people have to leave their homes, or people who live in remote rural areas don't actually have to always leave for employment. So that was a huge positive. I do know there's been a higher, obviously, job loss as well, but even like for business, there's a whole global talent that you can fish now. You don't have to think, okay, I'm set in London or in Dublin and I can't employ people. Then now you can really,
The businesses are now global.
Yeah, it's really, as the definition
Once you
is.
put your business online, it is going to go global.
Yeah.
You just have to be passionate about it and invest it. Like your time mostly now.
Yeah.
Like if you just have your computer and your phone, and you can do business globally.
It's true.
So that's one of the positive.
Yeah. But on the positive note, we want to leave you guys with a piece of advice of, what you guys can do to cope during this time. But please do share with us what you guys have that we could also do in our lives.
Just help us. Like, let's make this interesting. You can comment and give ideas, and also suggest what topics would you like to be talked on. So for me, like how to cope and how to adjust this, I have come up with these few words that reset your life, readjust, refocus, and restart. It is not the end of the world. I know it's like always a change. For me, I believe that when the world forces you to your knees, it is time to pray. And once you pray, God will give you the strength. For me, I believe in God. And those who don't believe in God, maybe the universe will help you. Reset your life, readjust it, refocus, and restart. Maybe this challenge of the epidemic is making our life start afresh. Life has gone wrong in many ways, but this is the chance for us to have a clean slate and start life afresh. Who knows? If we survive this, we might actually be better off, and we'll thank this time for giving us the chance to rethink and restart our lives.
Well, my piece of advice would be, it's okay if you're having a bad day. Like, this is hard and no one has gone through this before. So it is okay if it's a hard day, if you just feel like this is not going to end. However, make short-term goals. Make a goal to get out of your bed when you're meant to get out of your bed. Set a time and force yourself to get out of bed. Make short-term goals so that it's easy to feel joy in the simple achievements. Whether it means for a week, I'm going to reach out to one person and just text them, or to send them a message, or call somebody, or I'm going to go for a walk every day this week. Just set small-term goals and celebrate them. Anything you accomplish, celebrate it, and reach out to somebody. And we want to encourage everybody to reach out to friends and family, even neighbors that you maybe don't talk to. Just wave at them and just be an extension of that joy. Like, be the kind of person that creates joy in somebody else's life. And in turn, I believe, and I know we both believe, that joy will come back to you. This has been hard. You're not the only one. Your situation may be very specific to you, but we will get through this. I know it's a whole year later, but we will, and find ways to stay sane and positive, and do not forget there's somebody who loves you. So just hang in there.
And we are always online. We check our channel every day. We check our Facebook page every day. If you really need help, please reach out and write a comment, and we will be able, if we are able, we'll reach out to you and help in whatever way we can. Kindness never goes to waste. Don't think you are too small to do anything in this world. Everybody is valuable in this world. Whatever you do will help. You never know. You could be the answer to somebody's prayer. So in these times, like if you hear a still small voice directing you to do something, please do. You could be the last chance and an answer to somebody's prayer. Because checking on somebody, so many people are lonely now and people are unhappy. If you can just call, you might save that person from depression or feeling that they are alone in this world. Just to let them know that somebody's there. You are caring and you thought about them. I think that's the best we can do whenever we are able to. It's not a must, but please listen to that still small voice. In this lockdown, it is the only way that God can direct us to do mighty things.
So thank you guys for spending this time with us. Don't forget there's COVID rules and laws that we are expected to obey. So please obey that. Reach out to other people. Stay healthy, stay safe, and do subscribe. Click on the notification bell and do like this video. Do comment if you have any comments that you'd like to interact with us. We'll be happy to answer them. Thank you so much for your time and have a lovely day.